The alternate cable cast on is a bit of a fiddle, but it gives a very stretchy edge, and it's also very robust. It appears completely edgeless, so in this 1x1 rib it makes a great start to a sleeve or a cuff. So start with a slip knot and pop this on your left needle. Then insert your right needle into the front leg of this and knit your first stitch. Then, just as you would with the knitted cast on, slide that new stitch onto your left needle. You can think of this as casting on your first knit stitch, and now you need to cast on your first purl stitch. So take your right needle and insert it from the back to the front, but you want to insert it between the two stitches, so not picking up legs from the stitches either side. Then, wool to the front, purl this stitch. Loosen it off and slip it back onto your left needle. Pull it snug. So the next stitch to cast on is a knit stitch, and again insert your right needle in between the next two stitches, from the front to the back this time. Wrap your wool around your right needle and knit this stitch. Pull it loose and then loop it back onto your left needle. Here it is again. To cast on a purl stitch, insert your right needle from the back to the front, in between the last two stitches. Then wool to the front and wrap it around your right needle as if you were purling. Loosen it off and then slip it back onto your left needle. Then, for the next knit stitch, insert your right needle in between the next two stitches, from the front to the back this time, as it's a knit stitch. Wrap your wool around your right needle and knit the stitch. Then loosen it off and loop it back onto your left needle. Remember, you're inserting your right needle into the gap between the two stitches on your left needle. I like to twist the stitch when I loop it back on. You don't have to, you can just slip it on. But whether you twist it or just loop it, pick one method and stick with it throughout, as it'll create a slightly different edge. Once you've cast on all your stitches, you're ready to start knitting. And this is the bit where you need to read which stitch to do in the next row. And it isn't what you'd think. So every other stitch you cast on was a knit stitch. And they have this loop in front. And you can count the first stitch as a purl stitch. So every other stitch is a purl stitch. And the purl stitches actually sit back. So this last stitch I cast on was a purl, so I'll start with purling. And carry on with this purl one, knit one until the end of your row. You can also cast on 2x2 rib this way, casting on 2 stitches in knit and then casting on 2 in purl, and then switching back, and this gives a very stretchy edge compared to this long tail cast on, which is much tighter. And here is a close-up of a lovely 1x1 seamless edge.